Hello, this is Advertisers Watching Ads. It's a weekly show where we have brands watch other brands' ads.
There's no call to action. It's not about go buy a packet of Doritos or check out this new flavor, right?
The objective is to connect with a generation of individuals who don't watch advertising. So it's like the anti-ad.
When you put this campaign out and depend on their technology, you have to make sure that it's going to maintain and stay there.
My name's Dan Mosley. I'm the head of Automated Creative in North America, and I'm going to introduce this week's guests.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diksha Idnani. I like to think I'm a lifelong learner and a marketer at heart because I nerd out about brand development and really happy to be here.
I'm Kate Mackie. I look after integrated go-to-market within EY.
Hi, I'm David Esrati. I own a small ad agency in Dayton, Ohio, home of the Wright brothers. It's called The Next Wave.
We are going to get straight into the ads.
You guys, I just finished a run and I don't know, maybe I'm hungry, but I swear I just saw a giant Dorito.
What do I see? What do I see? Is that a Dorito?
Me.
Triangle detected.
What? We are going to vote. So on the count of 3, if I can get a vote out of 5 for Doritos Triangle Tracker. Ooh, we've got, all right, split vote. We got 3. Let's average 3.
Something that for me kind of swims to the surface in some ways is like how they're owning the triangle, right? They're really a trendsetter when it comes to Super Bowl advertising, and they spend millions of dollars on the production and the media, and they've really relied on their fans and their users to share their experiences. And that's been kind of how they've set the trend. And I think this kind of campaign just continues the evolution of that through user-generated content. And I really think that, how they've owned the triangle and how they are trying to like break through from a creative power perspective really kind of shines through.
It's not an ad, it's a campaign for me. And I think we should be thinking about it holistically in terms of, yes, the objective is to connect with a generation of individuals who don't watch advertising. So it's like the anti-ad. It's about really enabling the buyers of maybe it's a new audience, I don't know. This particular audience, it's enabling them to take control and be part of the brand, which is to your point around the triangle and how they've owned it. Yeah, I see it as a three-pronged campaign. One's your tease, your pre-tease with, all of the kind of famous buildings, the Louvre as a triangle. Then you've got the gamification piece. So what can I win that's triangular? Is it 250 grand on a card? And then the third is how do you make the most of the user-generated content? So it's those kind of 3 chunks. And I'd imagine that the first piece, that tease piece, had quite a chunk of money behind it. And then the rest of it is much more organic and enables those audiences to be part of the story around Doritos. The fact that it had 3 billion media impressions, I'd want to know, how did you get that? What was the detail within that? Because ultimately those media impressions are eyeballs across a number of channels. It's not pure advertising in its previous sense. It's much more to me around kind of that campaign from tease, gamification, and UGC.
I'm going to tell you flat out, we all sound fantastic when we make a case study. And that's what this was. This was a case study, and this was set up for winning awards for Goodby Silverstein and partners, which they are more than capable of doing. The audience they're trying to reach already eats these things, and getting them to increase sales by having a faux sweepstakes and engaging some complicated technology. And I say this, it's a very small segment. The kids that I have working for me right now as interns, they deleted Snapchat a long time ago. Kids are either on Instagram or TikTok. So putting all this effort into Snapchat and this filter and everything was limiting.
Do you have any thoughts on kind of the level of participation you're expecting from consumers versus some kind of giving them something handed on a plate?
I think this was way too much work.
Yeah.
And I don't think they had near as much push through or response. And this just didn't do it for me.
Calling it an anti-ad and like a case study is more accurate to what the form factor and what the intent behind it is, right? And if we were to look at it as not an ad, perhaps to use Kate's words, an anti-ad, and then think about like, what was the intent? I really think that it was about competing for share of mind in the target audience. And that's why you look at that ad, there's no call to action. It's not about go buy a packet of Doritos or check out this new flavor, right? Like, it's not about that at all. If this target audience is not really engaged with ads, what they're doing is spending time natively within digital. Like they're on TikTok, they're on Snapchat, they're like on all of these other channels and mediums, and that's how they're interacting with the world.
Pringles did a similar ad where they owned the shape of Pringles. So I don't necessarily think the shape thing is new in the category. Corn chips or tortilla chips are totally commoditized. So, actually, if you're a price sensitive kid wandering around the supermarket aisles, it doesn't take much to lean to the left and buy something that's not a brand name. But I do think Pringles, Cheetos, and Doritos all have to have that kind of, what is the value add? What is the higher level? Why are you worth paying a bit more? Having that brand recognition and that perception linked to the value. So in a similar way to the Nike tick, it gives you the triangle for Doritos. I think they're trying to move away from just the kind of 70% male youth category, because the majority of the icons or of kind of some of the stuff that was shown and used in the case study were much more female or much more non-male or atypical kind of male. So I do think they're trying to move out of that 70% pure kind of boy culture. And, not gaming and eating chips the entire time, but looking at, we're looking at art museums, we're looking at iconography, we're looking at earrings. It's kind of, it's taking it out of that kind of very male gendered approach. But I think there are better ways of doing that, because it also becomes a little bit tired and kind of obvious. And I think owning the triangle makes total sense for Doritos, but I think they could they could do it differently. They could execute it in a better way.
Do you see a lot more brands trying to get into this or continue to keep going in a more augmented real world meets brand space?
Nobody is going to argue that they're just going to sit and watch it unfold, right? I think we're already beginning to see signs of brands partnering with Apple to even understand what upcoming technology is going to look like. Going back to the Doritos commercial, or whatever we might want to call it, campaign, anti-ad, case study, it could be about garnering more revenue. But if you're Pepsi and you're swimming in the kind of ungodly amounts of cash that they have, I think even a 1 percentage point increase in your relevance with your target audience, I think can be that edge that you have over your competitors.
When you put this campaign out and depend on their technology, you have to make sure that it's going to maintain and stay there. How many people built websites in Flash that are no longer relevant? How many people used, I can't even remember Microsoft's technology that they told us all to use and then they pulled it away. I just don't like campaigns that are predicated on something that we can't control. I find that as risky.
Thank you very much for all of you taking part. And this has been Advertisers Watching Ads. Thanks so much.